Posted in another thread, think it's better than just a bump but too lazy to make green text. I'm headed to bed soon. I got stalked by a pack of dogs once. I was working in a very remote area and would go running after my shift, and first it was just seeing a friendly doggo here and there, but later the friendly dogs were joined by meaner and more wild looking ones. Then I realized the same dogs would be in roughly the same places each night, and a couple started to run short distances with me then break off. When I started to get spooked and changed my route, they followed. So I started running in the cardio room, a trailer with a couple treadmills, an elliptical, and a rowing machine, and they started hanging around the camp. Spookiest moment was leaving my trailer to piss one night and seeing one of the friendly ones waiting. I made baby talk and tried to let her, but each time I got close she backed away. Then I saw another dog under a trailer the direction she kept backing up in, and ran back to my own trailer. Heard running, clicking nails on the walkways between trailers, and a little scratching outside the door. I pissed in a bottle that night. Word had gotten around and apparently I wasn't the only one they'd been paying attention to. Over the next week plus vector control poisoned / shot a bunch of them and they dispersed. Pretty fucking spooky in my opinion. This isn't me, but my brother who still lives in a very rural area. He's a cop, his wife does day trading and trains German shepherds as working dogs, and their house is in some deep country. State land on one side, horse / alpaca farm and more state land on the other. Bro gets home late one night and cracks open a beer. Dogs are agitated, wife hears mooing, asks if he hears it too. Beyond the light of the porch the property goes back 100 meters or so with his tool shed / barn between the house and line where the state land starts. Bro hears mooing too, takes cowboy revolver because John Wayne and starts walking, thinking it must be a neighbor's cow stuck somehow. Keeps walking, out of light, realizes no flashlight but whatever. Moose seem to be retreating into woods. Bro continues. About 350 to 400 meters in there's a creek, dogs love swimming in it. Bro reaches creek and stops. Realizes he's half a kilometer into the woods, at night, with no light. And 5 bullets. Realizes the mooing has stopped. Only sound is running water. Then a soft voice across the creek. Over here. Nope. Starts stepping back. Over here. Stepping back intensifies. Continues to tactically get the fuck out until light from porch silhouettes his shed. Wife's voice softly calls. Anon. Freeze.png. Anon. Bro calls out to wife. Crickets. Over here. Bolts the rest of the way to the porch, into the light where wife is standing with 2 Sheppies and bro's American Akita, a well-known killer of coyotes, raccoons, stray chickens, and cats in the area. Asks wife if she called him. No Anon, did you find the cow? I always make fun of him for carrying his stupid cowboy revolvers. Now he carries his Beretta, and does not go fucking off in the woods after ghost livestock and rugaruos and shit without light and a loyal companion. Parents die in a car wreck. A week or so later. I'm laying in bed. Crying myself to sleep as usual. Hear a creak on the floor outside my room, and giggling. My dog perks up and starts growling like crazy. My mom slowly leans around the corner of the door. She looks different, and her movements are all wrong. Jerky and twitchy. Go to sleep Anon. It'll all be better soon. It's her voice but sounds clotted somehow. My blood is ice water. My dog is whimpering and cowering now. Mom jerks back around the door. Another creak. My dad leans around the corner. It's okay son, we're gonna be a family again soon. Just fall asleep and giggles. Like my mom. His movements are all spastic and tucked up. His face is a grinning rictus. He jerks his head back out of sight. My heart is pounding. Quickly and quietly as I can. I grab my phone and dial 911 to report a home invasion at my address. I can hear movement and that insane giggling from the hallway. I'm laying there with tears rolling down my face from fear. I don't know how long it was until I saw flashing lights outside the house and muffled shouts. Hurried movement in the hallway. Something crashes to the ground. Muffled shouts from downstairs as the cops come through the front door. Thank you God. They search my house and afterward a cop approaches me white as a sheet. Anon. It's hard to tell you this but we found your parents' faces on the ground outside. That was almost 10 years ago. They never found the sick fucks that did it, and I still have nightmares. So I don't remember this happening, but my mom got drunk on her 50th birthday recently and told me this happened when I was like 4. At the time I was her oldest and I had a younger brother, we'll call him David, who was like maybe 8 months or so. We lived in an old ass house on the outskirt of Baltimore. So since I was young I would sometimes come in to sleep with them. Especially because the door to the attic was inside my bedroom closet. I vaguely do remember being scared of this closet, but then again we moved when I was 5, so I don't remember much. One night my mom wakes up to me crying at her bedside. She looks and I am actually crying over my brother's crib looking down at him. My mom asks me what's wrong. He's gonna eat David. What on? Supposedly I shushed my mom at this point and whispered, "We can't stop him, so we need to be quiet, mommy." Then she heard a loud ass thumping coming from the ceiling. Supposedly sounded like someone trying to hammer a fucking nail through the ceiling fast as shit. My mom scooped both of us and we slept at my grandmother's house about 10 minutes away. My dad came back from work the next day and went to check out the attic, but my mom told me she refused to go up there for anything, and I slept in another room until we moved. Liquored up enough, here we fucking go. 1991. Was about 10 years old. Poor as dirt and lived out on a farm. By poor as dirt I mean we literally had nothing. No TV, no cameras, and besides a radio, nothing. We lived in a really rural area in the northernmost part of Wisco. No neighbors for more than a few miles. At home alone because my mom and dad needed to go into town to get some supplies. Listening to some shit I can't remember when someone bangs on the door. Strange, since we normally don't get people out here. Go to the door. There's a fucking crack. The door. Motherfucker hit it so hard there was a crack in it. Peeked through the crack to ask him what was going on. He was naked and covered in blood. Pig related. Ask him what the fuck he was doing on our doorstep. I got in a car accident, can you let me in to call someone to pick me up? Dude's tone was flat, kinda like how a computer sounds when it speaks. Tell him to get the fuck out before I go all mafia on his ass. He smiles and says that I won't regret it if I let him in. Get freaked the fuck out and run upstairs to get my dad's shotgun. Was a small kid back then, so it was heavy to hold and almost knocked me flat when I first shot it. Motherfucker was reaching through the crack to try and get in. Shoot his ass. I knew I hit him, because he pulled the fuck back and started running. Looked out of the crack and got ready to shoot him again when I see him running into the woods. On 4 fucking legs. Not how a person walks/crawls on 4 legs. This dude was like a fucking bear or something by how he ran. Too scared to shoot him again. Parents come home to me crying in the corner with the gun next to me. Dad freaks the fuck out when I tell him what happened. He said he can have some of the ice cream he got for me while he went out and tried to look for the dude. Came back the next day and immediately called my uncle who lived in Milwaukee to come and pick me up. The night before my uncle picked me up, I was doing my chores and checking on the cows. The same dude was in the barn, eating one of the stillborn calves. Nope. Go back to the house and tell my dad that some guy was helping himself to a burger in our barn. Goes out there with the gun and threatens to skin the dude if he comes back. The guy just laughs and walks off into the woods. Never came back. I live near a pretty big shopping mall. Right outside it is a massive park and many acres of forest which are dotted with lakes and such that are all connected. There was this one pond which was close to the play parks. This pond was fucking massive and they used to let you hire paddle boats until they kept getting sunk. 2 stories for you. First. Be about 7 or 8 years old. Grandparents are playing with me at the play park while my parents do the shopping. I make friends with this boy, can't remember his name so let's call him L. Me and L are on this badass spider web that's around 50 feet high. We're both pansies so we don't ever go above 10 feet. L had a brother who was about 6 but he climbed to the motherfucking top. Shouts to L and tells him there's a monster in the lake. L tells him monsters don't exist despite his brother insisting that there he saw one in the lake. L's brother says it's watching a little boy. Me and L are like whatever and we go on the swings. When my parents finish shopping and are walking me home they see police by the lakeside. Divers and shit searched for him too. Never found anything. Second. Be on same lake about 2 years later. On one of the hired paddle boats. Paddling along with my mother and my uncle when we suddenly can't move anymore. Paddle boat makes god awful scraping sound and refuse to move. Uncle thought we got caught on some weeds, so he sticks his hand in and moves it around. He turns as white as a sheep and tells us to get away from the sides of the boat. We oblige. 10 or 15 minutes later there's a couple big waves right under us, something shoots through the water and nearly capsizes little boat. Uncle rows us back like a fucking Viking. The tour boat guys asked us if we were okay. We said yes. Just got a little stuck on something. They refunded us our money and told us not to tell anyone.